My name is Justin Arnett Graham.
And I'm Nariba Shepherd.
And this
is Terms of Service.
Good afternoon.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I feel like it is, you know. It's a nice, breezy...
Oh, it is afternoon, officially heard. Okay,
Yeah.
that's why I
thought
asked
you were
that
asking me
question.
if it was nice. I was like,
no,
it
it's
is.
been a lovely day so far.
I was like, it's a good afternoon.
They got sun outside. It's a little bit windy. It's nice.
It's a little hot, but, you know, it's fine because I'm wearing this whole-ass hoodie, so... Yeah, that's my own fault because when I left my place at like 6 a.m., it was not like it is now.
Well, that's the thing about Chicago. You have to plan for all the different weathers of the day.
These are facts.
Yeah, you can't sleep on it. That's why I'm in this thing. I could unzip a little bit of it and, you know, it's breezy, easy
I love
breezy.
It. And it's a cool vibe. And
thank you.
You know,
I
we
feel
get
like
to
I'm
go
living...
see some of our friends later.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know stuff and I know things.
Yeah.
But
so great.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one.
I'm going to go and support their efforts to, you know, not only raise money for their organization, but also to help those affected by the hurricanes and the wild-ass weather that, you know...
is ripping through the country, kind of like global warming is a thing.
Right.
Crazy.
Right. You know, I'm just like... I'm not going to sit here like we're shocked. Okay?
I feel like,
just like
even
if
just a thing. The world is flat to you, global warming is still happening, right?
Oh, for sure. There was a video that I saw that...
in that reality.
Yeah, but I mean, it was from a very mainstream publication, and it's in promotion of, you know, this big musical that's coming out later this year. I'm not a musical type of...
I'm not a musical
type of guy. However, I guess it is, you know, it's a very, very big deal. And I think of this guy, Andrew, that I've known for forever. It's like his favorite thing. Kristen Chenoweth was on it. It's a whole thing. Put it together on your own.
I don't know any of the words you just said,
okay,
but pop off.
But yes, many people that are going to be listening to this will.
Sports ball.
So,
yeah.
It is very much not that.
Oh.
But anyhow, there was like this little interview series and it was hilarious. And the one of the leads was like asked about if they believed that the moon landing was real. And then they're hooked up to this machine and the machine was just like deception detected.
Do you
and then
believe?
They freaked out.
What do you believe?
Don't ask me that. Are you crazy? Absolutely. What? Stop. But then it was this whole thing.
Wait, did you answer the question?
No, it wasn't my question to answer.
Fine.
Because of course I believe that this is real, but the person that they had asked, the lie detector said that they believed that they were lying. And then she like freaks out and she's like, well, I'm from Florida. Like, this is crazy. And then asked about like, is the earth flat? And then it was just like, I don't know. It's like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Of course I believe these things. Of course these things are like, I don't believe like the craziness. Like, no, the earth is not flat, but why is the thing saying that I think that it is? So all of that is to say that there is a very big movie coming out later this year. And you had mentioned if the earth is flat. I had mentioned Florida, and this person's from Florida, and I'm doing just fine. I was like, Jesus Christ, I'm tired.
Sorry.
But yes, no, you're entirely fine. How are you?
I'm doing
And I don't even
good.
think you asked me how I am.
I did. I was like,
okay,
how are you
great.
doing?
I was like, I'm just completely crashed out here.
No. I'm doing pretty good.
Good.
I was very sad for a while, and I feel like I talk about depression and anxiety a lot, but I don't talk about... Well, admitting to sadness is different, I feel like, because it's like, for me, my depression is tangible. Like, I can like identify when and where it's happening, but for certain people, sadness is different because it's a feeling inside of you, and like for me that's hard to decipher. But I realized retrospectively that it was the week before my period and my hormones were crazy, and so I just spent like 3 days crying a lot, not realizing that like my body was gonna betray me the following week. So that was really something. But I talked to my therapist about it, and I might have to do like hormone level testing, which is something that you have to do as you approach 35. So my body is on track for me turning 35 because it's like, what's up, girl? But also I have a new
as we alluded to
fear.
the other episode.
Yes,
we're getting older.
Exactly.
So
and like I can't ignore my body anymore. So I am no longer sad because I bought a mop and a bucket and I fucking fabulosoed my apartment the other day, and I was like, oh, I wasn't sad. I just needed to mop my apartment. And you know?
Yeah.
So
I wasn't that sad. I just needed to do the fucking dishes.
I literally, yes.
Yeah.
Sometimes I was like, I cannot stare at this one area that my cats throw up after, like they throw up in the same place after eating the dead leaf that falls from the plant. And I'm like, object permanence just does not exist for you. Like, you're not learning anything. You're just, your eyes are too far apart and this is who you are. So I'm good. We have a whole other human here though, so we should hop in on that.
Absolutely.
Hi.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hi. I'll do shorthanded. I'm good.
Okay. You're like, after hearing all of that, I'm fine. I'm good.
I'm good. My apartment also stunk. I mopped. It was great.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just gotta do something nice for yourself.
You know, I tripped over a whole ass boot in my living room, and that thoroughly angered me.
Yes.
But then I had to realize that it was my fault, and all I had to do was just put it away.
The frickin' like downfall of my ego every day is when I am mildly inconvenienced by past me. I'm like, damn,
for sure.
It's me.
You know? But also, just as we're getting into, or I can only speak for myself, as I'm getting into my older age, I can't really fuck with an obstacle anymore. Like with anything.
You don't even have animals. That's what's keeping me spry, thinking that I'm going to trip over something constantly.
Yeah, no.
You know.
So
on
the last episode, we alluded to time that I was spending with my mom because
Wait,
of
can
all
we
the
get
things.
through Ricky's introduction?
Absolutely, but I'm just mentioning the thing with the boot thing.
Oh, yes, the boot. Sorry.
Because I almost broke my fucking ankle and
Today?
like my mom. No.
Oh.
But recently.
Yes.
And I had told my mom, and, you know, another thing about getting fucking older is just like, you know, you really don't want shit except like time, peace, and some fucking socks because you just keep losing them. So, but I digress from that. But she gives me like these little like solar powered light bulbs that you can just put into the outlet. Shout out to moms. She made it happen.
Night lights. Yeah.
I'm a grown ass man, and yes, I have fucking night lights now. Yeah, absolutely. It's
just safer.
I have a pineapple
from your
one
lips
for the
to God's
bathroom.
ears. Okay, it's absolutely amazing. And yeah, now we can go into a proper introduction because I just have to say, if I ever break my ankle, it's because my nightlight has gone out.
Yeah, fair.
Okay. So, hi, guest of ours. How are you?
I'm so good.
And also, who are you? Because I want to stop introducing our guests because your experience and your identity matters. So I would love for you to tell the people who the hell you are.
Who the hell am I? You sound like that guy who found me in his house. Who are you? Why are you wearing my clothes?
Where'd you come
What's going
from?
on here?
Yeah.
I know where you came from, but I don't know where you're going.
Right.
This
I'm
is
like, I
weird.
live here now.
Right.
My name is Ricky. Hi,
Ricky.
Hi. I'm a single mother to a beautiful mixed breed pit bull named Daisy Duke.
Yes.
Yes, Daisy Duke.
I
Come on with them Daisy Dukes on.
And it's spelled DOOK, like poop.
Yes.
It's so
Sick.
there's that. There's that. I'm a content creator. I own my own business. I work in marketing, and I guess I'm kind of a nightlife industry retiree.
I call it being in recovery personally as a ex-chef, but retiree.
Sure.
That's nice. I like that.
Sounds like there should be benefits.
In this economy?
But the benefits seem to be little atypical, right? Like, because it's not what we would traditionally see as a benefit, right?
I think the benefit is leaving.
Exactly. So it's just like, so there is a benefit in some capacity.
Oh, I have, all jokes aside, 100% benefited from stepping back. So yeah, I would say I definitely agree with that.
But you only step back in one area. I feel like you're always a step into
everything.
Like everything.
I'm in everybody's business.
Yes.
I love that. And actually,
but I like it.
What's your sign?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I am a Virgo Leo cusp. I have a big Sag moon.
Yes.
Okay.
We
and
share
a
that.
Taurus rising.
Got it. Okay, so all of those specifics, I do not know what that means.
It's
but the way that it started, I was just like, it's giving specificity, whatever the hell. Specifics.
I'm just like a very sensitive person who pretends to be stronger than I am.
Are you a Cancer?
2 toes down. No,
Virgo.
you didn't hear Cancer
Virgo.
once in any of this. It's
I did not.
2 toes down in earth signs
I don't do this
and
part,
2
Narita.
toes down in fire signs. So it's very much I am grounded in who I am, but I will fuck your shit up in the meantime.
And what's your sign?
Virgo.
Thank you. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. But I mean, but I feel like sometimes when we've had Virgos on before, it's just like the default of like the Beyonce Virgo.
I mean, there's a little bit Beyonce in most people.
I have to digress from that.
I said most. I didn't say everybody. I didn't say a lot of people. I said most people.
Yeah, well.
Because she is in the air. Okay? Like, I might not. I'm a Rihanna girly, but like, I recognize when I watch Homecoming that Beyonce is like fucking doing shit. I was like, oh, you're doing shit.
Well,
okay.
she's also a September Virgo.
Yeah, they're different.
I'm an August Virgo.
Yes, closer to the Leo side.
And my mom is a Leo. So
Got it.
I'm
Okay,
like
my mom's a
right
Leo
in the
too.
middle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, she's August 2nd.
August 20th.
Yeah,
So
that is
she's
cuspy as
also
hell.
like a Leo Virgo cusp. So
Yeah.
I'm a control freak.
Yep.
You're like, all of
I
that
always
is
make the
insane.
joke that Aquarius like is just an air Virgo. Like y'all have a plan, but they have like
It's the y'all for me.
they have an end goal, but there's no like real plan to how you get there. It's like they're side hustling their schedule.
But see, I'm also neurodivergent. So I have an idea of a plan. And
A concept.
I have a concept of
Of
a
a plan.
and I don't know how to get there, so I'm just always overwhelmed.
Yes.
So
That's how I came to Real Housewives for the gym. It was like my ADHD.
you trick yourself.
Yes. And then I can do it. But if I don't have entertainment, like
You're like, why
Why
the
am I
hell am
there?
I sweating
Why
so
am I
much
here?
watching this dinner party?
because it's not
go
for
to
my
shit?
health. It's
Isn't
it's for the endorphins. And I know my physical well-being will also benefit from it, but I'm just like, I know if I do this, it makes me feel better.
But are you getting the endorphins from Real Housewives or from the exercise?
See,
Or
when
both.
I watch it both a little bit, but when I watch it at home, sometimes I don't get the endorphins because I'm just like rotting, which I really enjoy to do. I like a good rot. Like, yeah, just like sit here for 6 hours.
It's rot girl fall, honey.
Yes.
Just rotten fall.
I love it. Can't wait.
So
Onesie season is amongst us.
it's just fair. Oh, wow.
So yeah, Virgo.
Virgo. Great. Got it.
Yes.
Heard. So, Ricky, we have a ton of shit that we're going to talk about. But let's start from the beginning. Where are you from? And what's your background in this ridiculous industry that we call hospitality?
I'm originally from Dayton, Ohio.
Dayton, Ohio.
We're
What do you
going to
think
say
about
go
Dayton?
Flyers. Oh, I was waiting for
No,
like a
I
go
don't know.
Flyers.
No, I don't know shit about the Flyers.
Oh my God.
Sorry. I just know that and it kills every time I play trivia, which isn't fucking often. So let me back that up.
Okay.
But the times that I have played trivia, and it's just like, give me a town in the United States that starts with X. Xenia.
Yeah.
Which is outside of Dayton. That's what I know. Shout out to Tyree. And when he hears this, he's going to lose his mind because I shouted out officially his goddamn town.
And everyone from Ohio will tell you about the Xenia tornado.
Oh my God.
It was wrecked. It was like wrecked by a tornado, I think in the, I don't even know, 70s or 80s or something like that. They called it Tornado Alley, even though I think it maybe happened once. Don't quote me. I could be wrong.
Yeah, no problem at all. I'm sure the people listening will provide additional context, but also, sorry that happened. Hope it doesn't happen again.
Mm-hmm. I mean, global warming.
Wild.
But Xenia's still here, and I definitely know that Dayton is still here. Mm-hmm. So, happy for
is that where the fast car driving happens?
NASCAR?
Yes. Isn't that
you're thinking the Daytona 500?
Yeah, that's Daytona, not Dayton.
That's in Florida.
That's
okay,
Florida.
Never mind. Well,
probably very similar, if we're being honest.
I've been to Florida a time or two.
Florida.
Mm-hmm.
It's fair. So
he's in a lawsuit with Celsius. Yeah, sorry.
How was Dayton?
Oh. Okay, so here's the thing. Dayton, I lived there like my whole life. So I was there till I was 26, and I came out when I was 16, but it was more like a soft open.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I kind of came out to my friends and things like that. And being queer, when I was 16, I'm 39 now, so this is over 20 years ago. It was kind of a rough vibe.
Yeah.
So when I moved 12 years ago, I very much escaped Dayton. Now when I go back as an almost 40-year-old, I can appreciate it a little bit more for what it is now and how it has grown. But it was not the best experience, and so coming to a place like Chicago it was a life-altering experience because just seeing every kind of person you could possibly see that's different than you, whereas where I'm from, It was not like that.
Yeah.
Like, I think we had 6 people of color in my high school out of a class of like 2,500.
We had one white student in my high school.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that flip, but yes. But also, really quickly, did you find yourself going to Columbus at all? Because when I moved to Columbus, okay. Yeah.
That was not in the cards for you?
And you know what? Yeah. There was no reason why, because it was always a good time when we went, but it just, at the time, it was an hour and a half drive. Like, are we going to drive an hour and a half to go out in Columbus? No, because then we'd have to drive an hour and a half home.
Yeah. Right.
And we weren't doing that. I rarely went to Cincinnati either, which was about 45 minutes or we talk about distance and time.
Yes.
There.
I'm saying that. Yeah. So and also, I need to relook at a map because for whatever reason, I thought that Columbus was closer to Dayton than Cincinnati.
Ohio's big as fuck, dude.
So it's
it's Cleveland, Columbus, Cincinnati.
Cleveland's up here.
Yep.
And then Columbus is here.
Yep.
And then you go further south, and then here's like Dayton, and then Cincinnati's over here south.
Oh.
So it's kind of like an L shape.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
Because the one time I went to Cincinnati was very interesting. I went there for some shit. I can't remember.
Did you go to the Newport area that's actually in Kentucky, but it's right over the river, but it's kind of...
Yes, but also I got Chinese food in Covington, which is really cute.
Okay.
For the Chinese food because it was absolutely fire because I was I don't ever want to go to Kentucky even though I have family there, but reasons. Duh.
Yeah.
But it was fun. Oh, I know why I went. I was dating someone and it was a let's get out of town and we went to some bars and we had a nice little dinner. Yeah, R.I.P. to that person.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh,
not
for
physically.
Us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Not no.
Yeah.
For
memory
in my life.
Right.
I don't know that man.
Yeah, they are very much
terrorizing someone else.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
We have both moved on. So yes, for me, I am at peace. So here we go. For everyone listening, because I was like, oh my gosh.
Sorry.
I was like,
Sorry,
I feel like I said that way too casually. So this person is entirely fine. Respectfully. So yes, continue.
Okay.
My friends are gonna hear. My friends are gonna hear this. My friends are gonna hear this and be like, "Are you talking about so and so?" I was like, "R.I.P."
Yeah.
So leaving and coming to Chicago.
Yeah. So left Dayton. Moved to Chicago. Like I said, I've been here since 2012, and honestly, that was an entire.
You've only been here one more year than me?
2012.
Dang.
We've known each other for longer than I think. Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. Yeah. I was thinking about that. I was thinking about that on the way here because, I think we've known each other for about a decade.
A decade?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Because I had no industry experience whatsoever. So my first experience was actually because. Can I say the name of the bar? Am I allowed or
Oh,
no?
yeah.
Okay.
It's your boundaries. It's whatever you want to do. Yeah.
So I started working at Rogers Park Social when they made it. When they bought it and it was a
Sidecar bar.
It was sidecar. So I remember partying in the space when there was no floor.
Yeah.
They had torn everything out and I was in there partying with the owners before the bar even existed.
Yeah.
So that was my first step into the service industry, and I only got that because my terrible ex-boyfriend knew the owners and kind of connected the dots for me. And I wasn't the first class of people that worked there, but then one person was super problematic and got fired and I took his spot. So I was almost like the Michelle in the Destiny's Child. I wasn't in the original four, but I swung right in.
Yeah.
On.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah. That's very accurate.
No. Maybe for the situation.
Yes.
But we are not tolerating
Michelle slander?
any of that. What? Okay, because Michelle is still very much
met
that
a Michelle bitch before.
Hello, hi.
No,
But she wasn't a part of the original Girls.
No, she wasn't.
She came in, is what I'm saying.
She was second.
No, I get what you're saying.
Because it was LaToya and Latavia.
Okay, yeah, facts. Okay, I was like, because we're being very specific here. Absolutely. And I love that for us.
And so she trolled in.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh my God.
But yeah, the presence was known, the presence was felt, and it was a needed thing that we didn't know that we needed.
And unlike your ex, she's still here with us in spirit and in body.
I cannot.
And she's very spiritual.
not unlike your ex. Thank you.
This garnish is
really,
garnishing. Okay.
Appreciate that. I'm stuck on the Michelle and then the low-key read, but I love the community.
I saw Death Becomes Her. It was great.
Okay.
I still haven't seen it because every time I'm like, I'm going to watch this, I go to where I've seen it being streamed and it's no longer there. Can we just keep things on one streaming platform? Also, I'm poor, so I don't be renting things very often. So, but I need to.
Expensive.
It's on my list. I want it. Halloween.
You've never
Goddess.
seen the movie?
The movie, yeah. I know.
Oh wow!
I know.
It's a classic. So yeah, that's how I started bartending.
Okay.
Which was great, and I was really lucky. I do consider myself and my time there, especially at the beginning, it was invaluable because I stepped behind a bar for the first time, having no idea how to even pour a beer. They taught me how to pour a beer properly.
Bitch, you're from Ohio.
Girl, we weren't pouring beers. We drank them out of the can.
Fair.
Natty Light.
Natty Light. Okay, I'm so glad that you said it because I didn't want to interrupt, but I guess I still did. So, yeah, Natty Light. Ugh, the nasty natty, dog.
I thought I was going to have my first Michelob yesterday because we went golfing, and they didn't even have it there. So I'll never know what she tastes like. The beer of golf.
Time.
Yeah.
Ugh, I'm over it now.
That's fair.
It's today now.
I like Michelob. I like a nice, little low ABV, cheaper.
So I don't like beer, but I did really like the Athletic Golden Ale. That one was a bop.
Mm-hmm. The zero proof.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That I did like.
If I'm not mistaken, I think is that Cincinnati?
No, it's Connecticut.
Yeah.
Never mind. Mm-hmm. I think there is.
Shout out to them.
Is it Rheingeist? I think that's Cincinnati.
I don't know her.
I think it might be.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway.
But I mean, just on the context of Ohio, there was what was the name of that beer? Yingling?
Yeah, Yingling.
Is that Ohio?
Yeah.
I thought that was Pennsylvania for some reason.
I don't know where they make it, but I can tell you I remember very specifically when it took Ohio by storm.
Yes. Yeah. I think it's a Pennsylvania
Y'all
thing.
Have that Yingling. That Yingling beer.
I remember
that was wild
being
when I was there.
underage and in a pool somewhere in the suburbs of New Jersey for my friend's graduation party, and they're like, she can have Yingling, it's not real alcohol, and I'm like, this is America.
Well, that's the funniest thing about
suburb people don't think that beer and wine coolers are alcohol.
Well, it's because they live in a bubble.
Speaking of bubbles, did you ever try Boone's Farm?
Yes.
No.
Yes, I
like
have.
a wine bottle sized wine cooler.
Yes.
No.
Strawberry Fields, if I'm not mistaken.
My whole thing was Arbor Mist.
Sure.
I had like a taste of Arbor Mist. Obviously of age, 21 years old, having a taste of Arbor Mist.
Bad girl.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? It's just like the worst. Okay.
When I went back to the Museum of Science as an adult for the first time in Boston, I remember walking in there and being like, I would like a glass of Boone's Farm, because I remember seeing it there all the time, and it was like so pretty, like the pink one, and I was like, I want to drink that, and I never could, and that was the first time I had it, and I was like, this is...
I liked it. I mean, for
juice.
a 1.2 ABV,
It's juice.
Yeah.
Well, but I'll also say, and this was my mistake in general, and this goes right back to shouting out Tyree. There was this little Chinese spot, just off campus of the Ohio State University. I lived in the short north. He essentially lived on the opposite side, closer to campus. And we would get together and just like hang out, and he's like, oh, we need to get like a Four Loko. And I was like, what the hell is that?
Oh my God.
Absolutely problematic, terrible.
This is back in the day when they had booze and caffeine.
That was when it was the actual thing. If people tried to talk to me about what it is now, I was just like, it should be outlawed now.
Well, there was a study that was published about the effects of, like, it was specifically Red Bull, but like Red Bull and vodka affects your brain in the exact same way as cocaine. That is why people were like, well, no, it's true. It's like the way that it stimulates your neural patterns, they found, is the same way that when you're taking uppers, it stimulates your brain. And
Energy
that's probably why
downers,
you're supposed to like not have caffeine in your booze. So Four Loko lost that battle.
I used to drink Sparks. You remember those?
Oh my gosh!
They look
with like batteries.
Yeah.
Oh no, I was a NOS girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember it came in the fucking
I thought I said
tank?
N05.
I thought that's what it was for a long time, but it's NOS, like nitrous.
Oh.
Like the like shit that makes your car go fast. Is that nitrous? No, that's what they do at the laughing gas. Okay. Oh dang. Pop off.
Yeah.
It's
what is it?
Nitrous?
It's Fast and the Furious.
Yeah.
It's just like, supposedly it like sprays it all on your engine, and then like, your face gets blown back.
Fastball.
Fastball. Absolutely.
We got Theater Ball. Who is she? I don't know.
Absolutely.
Who is she?
So what we are currently enjoying, to bring it all the way back, excuse me.
The garnish.
Yes. So we are enjoying Ritual Gin Alternative with a melon cream soda, fennel, and anise and tonic. This is cute.
I do like her. She's refreshing.
This. Yeah. It's a little highball situation over some Corey ice cubes.
The garnish is giving both a bird of paradise and a turtle in my soul. I fucks with it.
That's very interesting. Mine is now in my beverage.
She's swimming.
But it's just, it's great.
It's like the bird that like spends its entire life flying around and only touches down to like give birth. It begins with an A. Anyone? No?
No,
not at all. Sorry. So, not at all. But
it's like a big ass seagull.
Huh.
Albatross!
There we go. Sweet. I had no idea.
White boy Google does it again.
I was like the more we know. But so Ricky,
everything is a side conversation. We're on a side quest to get through your story.
Hey, I'm here.
Cool.
So continue, my friend.
I don't know where I left off.
So basically,
first job, bartending,
yes,
social, your step in where you're making like, we stopped at pouring beer and then we sidebarred.
You're like, no one pours beer.
Well, so I started bartending because I had to make money and there was this new bar. And so what was fascinating to me is I moved into Rogers Park, and where I'm from, nobody walks anywhere.
No.
You don't walk to bar. There are no bars in your neighborhood. You don't walk to the train. There is no train. Like, I could walk to the market, walk to bars. It was literally a mind-blowing experience. I grew up lower income, working class, in a trailer, lived in not the exact same home my whole life, but in the same area.
Yeah.
So I started working somewhere that I could actually walk to, and like, it just absolutely blew my mind. But I was also getting, like, in my opinion, invaluable experience there because I learned how to make really fucking good drinks. I mean, it wasn't just...
It's like a legit cocktail bar.
Yeah,
in a place where
flaming lemon peels and shit. I felt like a whole witch, and it was amazing to me, and I loved it for a long time. I really, really did. I loved the potion mastery of it all. I loved the tincture aspect. I loved that their whole thing is you're not going to go in and find Tito's, but if you like Tito's, you'll like this. If you like Maker's Mark, you'll like this.
Yeah, everything's smaller, independent.
Right. Yeah, and we changed our menu seasonally, and so we really got to create all kinds of things. And so I gained that experience, firsthand experience, for free, and was also able to actively work while learning.
Yeah.
So it was a really, really big moment for me, because after that, when I left, now there's things to be said about craft cocktail bars, because depending on where you're located, you know, you spend 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 minutes making a cocktail for $1 tip. You're kind of like, I could have poured a beer for that, or poured a vodka soda or whatever. Right. But it was invaluable for me because I was always only working part-time, but I ended up losing my job. And so working there, I was not only able to support myself, but I also ended up paying off my student loan myself.
Yeah.
I mean, awesome. what a big boy moment.
Right.
And so I was just like, man, I cannot believe I work like twice a week and I've been able to do this.
Yep.
Right.
And it was really great. And then I actually ended up accidentally working full-time as a bartender. I moved to another space in another neighborhood, and that's kind of when everything started going downhill for me, because I never really wanted to do it full-time, because I don't do well with the unknown. I don't like not knowing that I have money that I can depend on to pay for what I need to pay for.
Yes.
And that unknowing of it all really fucking sent me.
Well, you are a Virgo.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I ended up working full time, and it worked out fine. I mean, financially, it worked out fine.
But anxiety wise,
it was not good. And let me tell you, I had a panic attack at Rogers Park Social once. I was super hungover.
On Monday.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said my IUD. I was it's in. I said, no, girl, we're good. We're fine. We're fine. We're fine. Brand new. I had a panic attack, and I was super hungover.
I'm not laughing at the panic attack.
No. I get it. I was super hungover, which is kind of my trigger anyway. If I'm too anything, I'm like in panic attack territory. Too hungover, too hungry, too tired, and I was all of those things.
Damn.
Had a fucking panic attack. It was a group of lesbians. They walked in, and I remember looking at one of them, and she ordered a grapefruit mimosa, and it was like her voice like slowed down when she ordered it. I was like, what's going on? And I turned around, and the whole fucking bar like spun in a circle. And then like I had to like grab one of the owners. I'm crying. They had to take me to the back. I had to have like an emergency Xanax. I'm like chewing it up in the back, and I had to work the rest of my shift like that.
Oh my God.
Because of course,
not in this economy,
right? I had to work. I think I was working. It was a Saturday, so I would get there at 11 and leave at 7:45. I think so. It was a full last day.
Yeah.
And after that, every shift, I was so nervous I was going to have a panic attack.
Yep.
For the rest of my bartending career, and I was bartending full time.
Yeah. No.
And so then I would like start drinking, because it would kind of like keep me at least from going to that level of, oh shit, what it's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. But I was working 4 or 5 days a week.
Yeah.
In a new space that was like fucking Clopen territory, and like we were understaffed and like all that stuff. So it got a little wild.
It was hairy. That sounds like a recipe for disaster. Perfect storm.
It was a perfect storm for me to fall apart. So
yeah, damn.
Yeah. No, I've never had a recognizable panic attack at work, except for the day that I tried to go into work after breaking up with my girlfriend. And I had a full panic attack in the dairy walk-in, and the pastry chef, who was a complete dick. This was the first time he was like, oh shit, I gotta help this bitch. And like, he got me out of there post haste. But I've definitely fainted from dehydration and exhaustion at work more than once. But it's like, when you're in it, you think like, oh, it's a battle scar. It's like a story, but it's like,
it's trauma.
It's trauma. And in the last week and a half, 2 of the other bartenders, not necessarily at the social, but like 2 of them have had panic attacks. And I'm just like, this is stressful, like all the time. And that's why I'm a pumpkin when I get home, because I'm just like, everything needs to exit my brain post haste. Like,
of all the places to have a panic attack, being essentially trapped behind a table, surrounded by however many, it could be 5, it could be 20, it could be 30 people staring at you, tapping their credit cards on the bar. That is not the spot to have one. And it had me fucked up for the rest of my time bartending, which I started doing marketing for this company as well, part-time, which was kind of my like out, because I never wanted to bartend full-time, because I couldn't trust myself with my drinking, because it was getting fucking wild. So luckily, I think I was only bartending for about a year full-time. So totally, I think that I was like in the industry like 7 years.
Yeah.
Well,
12 years and counting for me. God damn.
That money though, sometimes. I used to work on Saturday nights. This was a new space. I was upstairs at the bar. They would always give me my bar back. She and I would just fucking rock this upstairs bar, and I would always tip her out an extra 100 at least than I was supposed to, and still walk out with between 3 and 5. God damn. And when you're making $500 cash working one night a week,
yes, it changes your brain.
That shit is like
addictive. Yeah, I know. That's how I felt about when I was on the river walk, because it was like on a Saturday, I know even splitting tips with like 7 or 8 other people, I want to walk out of there with like $350, $400. Why would I not? Except then
mental health, I don't know.
I was gonna say literally mental health and peace of mind. Like, don't fucking play in my face and tell me you're not gonna do something and then you make it your priority. Like, to actually not give a fuck about anyone else. Yeah, so I don't play that game anymore. But I have found that being petty in a polite way has been stimulating my brain in the same way as when I go to the gym with my bosses. So it's like, I'm gonna do what you said, but you're gonna be so mad at the excellence at which I have done this service that you will never ask me to do it again, because I have proven that I am capable.
I love that.
I'm very
thoughts
petty
on that.
Yeah, I know it's not healthy, but I'm doing it.
I was like, that reads to me as such a toxic environment. Like, such a toxic environment that it's like,
yeah.
But
it puts that glint in my eye that I've missed for a long time.
That's fair. I mean, obedience out of spite is real.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think, though, there is a level of pettiness in... Now, I can only speak on behalf of, like queer nightlife establishments. So I've only worked for 2 companies, but the second company had multiple spaces. So essentially it was more like working for 4 bars, but they all fell under the same umbrella.
Yeah.
I think that there is kind of a level of, if you can't beat them, join them. That is unfortunate.
Yes.
Because, look, I try to wake up every day living my life like Dolly Parton, because I think she just approaches her life with kindness. She's got shit on her mind. She's fucking famous.
Yeah.
She could be a monster.
Yes.
She's not.
Yes.
But it also gets to be really exhausting when you try to live your life that way and you go to work and there's all this like
pushback,
kind of petty, condescending queer bullshit, really, because I think in a lot of these spaces, like queer spaces, they also operate under this kind of overarching idea that, like, well, we're queer people. This isn't corporate America. We have different rules. Like, if you don't like it, it's our way or the highway. This is just how it is. Like, this is the way that queer life is. Like, we're just different.
That's
just different.
Also toxic on the opposite end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
But also, it's the same argument that we've heard when people are talking about like Black-owned businesses and how it is ran, because it's built from this anti-establishment sort of concept, but then it becomes a thing of, well, what are you gonna do for the community? And I feel like queer spaces have the same energy. It's like you're actively doing something for the community, but the community wants more, because you have set this expectation that because you're not corporate America and you're not doing it like these other places, you have more, or it is perceived that you have more to offer to your community.
Right. And I want to say something on that very specifically. So the unfortunate reality is that when you're trying to create a socioeconomic community, right, the issue, whether it is conscious or subconscious or it's behavioral or whatever it is, we are so preconditioned to believe that this ivory tower is in our best interest. So then when you see people on the opposite side that are trying to ensure that it's sustainable, that it's equitable, that it actually has a pathway to ensure that you have the financial acumen to like actually navigate like your salary and things like that, you take it as a hindrance, because you're like, well, I also can't take these. Like, unfortunately, the mindset is like, I don't take this as serious as I should the ivory tower. But no one actually wants to say that.
Yes.
They just want to be like, well, we just operate differently. It's just like, actually, we operate quite similarly. Like, quite, we're quite similar, right? But the issue is that, like, we actually care about your well-being because we don't want to commodify you.
Yeah.
Okay, it's just like, so you think that you have all of this upward
mobility,
upward momentum, mobility, all of it. But in actualization, if you do not produce, they don't want to hear reasons why. You're simply done.
Yeah.
You're simply done. So to try and actually foster a connection within your own community is such a difficult thing to come across.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All the time. In my observation and in some experience. Because it's like, well, what about this? And like, what about that? It's just like, okay, like, I mean, but these suggestions are absolutely fantastic within reason. But how does that translate to like you? How does it translate to you? It's like, this is what you have seen that it's being done, but tangibly, what does that look like?
Yeah.
How would you benefit?
They don't have that part yet.
It's fine. And that is why, like, it's a greater conversation.
Yeah.
And it's just,
it's frustrating and it's cyclical.
Absolutely. Because it's just like, we as a diverse community have so much possibility, but we just silo one another.
Yes.
And be like, well, this isn't like what this is supposed to be, and like
it's just like everything should be the same. Exactly.
Right. It was just like, so you want it to be the same but smaller, but yet you want more from less.
Yes.
And it's not all fairy tales and fucking gumdrops out here. And I think that a lot of frustration, just I'll just speak from my experience, in the gay community, a lot of frustration. It's like not feeling like you should be, it's kind of like you're, there's this guy that I'm thinking of right now. He's just like, not a part of the community. It's just like, I'm not happy with my, like, stature of life, and I've realized over the years, people that I've known in the community have just turned to alcohol and other substances to try and numb that aspect of it, while still expecting greatness from it. Which I think is a very unique dichotomy.
It's the insanity of it all. Like, you keep doing the same thing and expecting a different outcome.
I feel like it's the dichotomy of it all, because it's just like, it's not necessarily it's not consistently drinking and drinking and drinking to make seemingly like a problem go away. It's just drinking to numb one aspect, but yet trying to change other behavior that doesn't translate back to the issue at hand if you're not practicing mindful alcohol consumption.
Or if you're just unaware of the pattern that you're in, which I feel like most people generally fall into that category, is like, you can't see it because you're in it.
Right.
Right.
And you don't hear from the trees. Yeah.
Or however that expression
and
goes.
you can't tell someone that. Right. So, yeah.
So, what are your thoughts on that, like, massive tangent that I just went on, but only respond to what you feel speaks to you. And if none of it did, it's all good.
I think that the queer nightlife community can be something really, really amazing. I think that historically it has been incredibly important. I think that there is this idea still that, in my opinion, is a little bit of an antiquated idea that you have to go to queer bars to be safe as queer people all of the time. I think that the idea of the gay bar it's a little antiquated. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that I don't want to go party at Bar Louie. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? But it's like,
no tea, no shade against Bar Louie.
No, I'm sure they make a fucking amazing
draft.
Just I was gonna say loaded like potato fry or something. I think that there is just this kind of like idea that you have to go to queer bars if you're a queer person because this is what you do. And you're in a bar, so you have to drink because that's what we do. Over the course of like the last year, because I spent the last year and a couple months sober. I'll say sober, but what I really mean is alcohol free.
Yeah.
I think that there has been
California sober.
Right. Well, and really whatever.
Yeah.
If I'm camping, right. But I think that either
a dabble.
Yeah. Either I have seen it more and I've just been more receptive to it because I was not drinking, or I think that there has been a surge in alcohol-free options.
Yeah.
Whether that's CBD or Delta 9 or like mushroom infused, whatever. And I feel like it has gotten more prevalent over the course of the last year because I've just been seeing it in bars more often. Whereas before you had to kind of search for that.
Yes. Which I like. I like that there are more options.
I do too, because I do think as well, and I have seen this in multiple spaces, not just spaces that I have worked. I just call it walking alcoholism. And the thing is that you don't really think of yourself as, you don't have to call yourself an alcoholic to have issues with alcohol consumption. Yeah. You can engage in alcoholism or alcoholic behaviors without, I think, identifying as an alcoholic. And I think that when you are in those circumstances where you can't see the forest for the trees because you're surrounded by however many other people, 8, 9, 15, 20 people that work with you, and everybody's binge drinking. Yeah. Everybody's starting that shift with a shot of fucking Jaeger or whatever it is.
Oh my God.
And it's like, you don't really see how problematic that it is because everyone around you is doing it. And it's not like you should necessarily like compare what you're doing to other people, but it's, if you go out to brunch and you're with 18 other people and everyone's deciding to have dessert for breakfast and start, instead of fucking French toast, you're like, well, I want to be a bad girl. I want to have a dessert too.
I'm doing it.
Yeah, I'm doing it. And I think that is something that I really saw. That is one of the sad parts of especially like the queer nightlife industry. Let's be real. If any of us have ever been bartenders, there's a lifestyle that's associated with it. It's not just a job.
No.
Because you're going to see other bartenders. They're coming to see you. There's this weird like imaginary exchange of money. It doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist.
$20 doesn't exist.
No.
God.
And it's also, you go somewhere and you fucking get a drink and you get a free shot. And it's just like before you know it, you've been out for 6 hours and you've had 6 beers and 6 shots and you're like, I'm trashed, but how? I've only had 6 beers.
See, I feel like I entered bartending when I was like already past that in my industry life. So like I've been gotten twice since I've been bartending.
The back of house to front of house pipeline is not common.
It's like I was already over going out by the time I started bartending. So everyone would like go to the bar across the street or whatever. But I'm like, I'm about to go home and feed my cats and sit my ass on the couch and smoke this spliff and pass out. And wake up with a neck pain the next day because I fell asleep on the couch and not my bed. But I have been gotten twice, and it's because I had never been to Jackhammer.
Yeah.
And someone was like, I think it was Bethany.
I have also never been there.
Well, I've only been to Jackhammer post renovations, and everyone keeps saying, but like things are different now. They're more accepting of stuff, and it's like, just it's a different vibe there. It's safer and more inclusive is what people have told me. But like the only thing I'm drinking there is a club soda and a shot of mezcal every time someone goes and gets another drink. And no one's really drinking there when we go there after work. It's like we'll have 2 drinks and like giggle at each other, and then I'm like, I gotta go home. I tie. So I feel like I've missed that part of it, but I experienced that in kitchens. And it was like, you want to drink? You want to do some drugs? You want to be here until they close? and then we can go to that next bar that's open for 2 more hours. And I'm so sorry that you live in Rogers Park and not in like Humboldt, Ukrainian village area. Good luck.
So, may I say something?
Yes, sorry.
This? So we're alluding to, you know, quote unquote, like safe queer spaces, right?
Mm-hmm,
and quote unquote safe queer spaces are not always in practice for what they are presenting to the community.
Yes.
Right.
And I, for one, rarely will ever be seen at a gay bar or, you know, like queer events, yes. But Ricky, as you had mentioned earlier, like gay bars, that's something that's few and very far in between for me personally.
Yeah.
And the reason for that, again, for me, because I can only speak for myself, is because I don't feel safe there. I don't feel as if it caters to the appropriate demographics
and I'm not included
subcultures
there. Yeah.
of the community, because it's very broad in acceptance, but it's very minimal in practice and actualization.
Yeah.
So,
like, basically, like, the only time I ever went to queer spaces, like bars and stuff, is when I was in a relationship with my ex, who had a huge queer, like white queer alternative. I'm talking shit, so I'm getting got. But like,
yeah,
it never felt like it was welcoming for me. Like, I feel like the person that I was dating was like the epitome of what queer, like, culture was like at that time, you know, like androgynous, very like Tumblr aesthetic person, you know, like white. And I feel like very often, unless I'm going to an event specifically, it is not, the queer bar scene is not for me. And so like, that's why when I started working at the Social and I was playing like R&B, and like there were so many Black and brown people that were regulars there before that were like, oh my God, I love this music, like blah, blah, blah. And now I've sort of like accumulated them. Like, people come in because they know I'm going to be playing music that they want to hear and not holding them hostage to a tab.
Yeah.
Like,
and also that's how I felt when I was bartending at Half Acre. You know, it's just like, I have nothing but, you know, respect and admiration for them within reason.
Yeah.
But so I'll never forget, it was just like all of these shifts for, you know, quite a bit of time, to where it's like, oh yeah, Justin, like, do you know this song? And I was like, no. And it's like, oh, it's like the random drummer from like this very slept on band, and this was like his mixtape. And I was like, I don't know. I was like, cool.
There are too many steps of separation.
I was like, cool. But then when I started, you know, bartending there, I was just like, you know, I want some funk. I want a little bit of like soul hip hop. Like, and then people just gravitated to that accessibility of it, because obviously when you play one very specific type of music, that means that you're appealing to one very specific demographic.
Yes.
And there is a wonderful trans person that I am thinking of that I cannot say her name because it is a very big deal and I don't want to put her out there, who found out when I was leaving, came in specifically on my last day and thanked me for making such an acceptable and enjoyable space within a straight owned business on the north side.
Yeah.
And I am still in contact with this wonderful individual to this very day, and I love her so very much, and I'm so proud of her. But it's it's things like that that make me really, really think deeper about queer nightlife.
Yeah.
You know, because it doesn't have to be so formulaic. It can just be accessible wherever you find yourself. Because queer people do not have to only operate in queer spaces.
Yeah.
And if we limit ourselves, then we are essentially just siloing us and being like, well, we don't deserve to be in other spaces. Like this dude being at one of the top breweries in the state of Illinois, like behind that bar and doing like for years, Max knows. You know, that's something that I hold very near and dear to myself, because I got to create an environment that wasn't just comfortable for me, but others that simply were like, I don't know if I want to go there because, like, you know, beer.
Representation matters.
You know? Yeah.
I think that is the beauty of what a bartender can be.
Right.
You know, like I have a friend of mine and he is such a good dude, and he is going to be in the nightlife industry for the rest of his life. He loves it. I don't know if he'll be a bartender forever or own his own bar or start brewing his own beer or whatever, but he is just that kind of guy. He is... Sorry, my watch was ringing. It scared me for a second. I was like, but he is, like, in my mind, like the quintessential bartender. It's like, whoever walks into his bar is going to be welcome. They're going to be seen. They're going to be treated as equal. He is this big, gruff, like, bear. He's got a beard. He looks like he would be just kind of this, like, rough dude from the suburbs. And he's surrounded by so many different kinds of people all of the time. And that is something that you don't see in the queer world a lot.
No.
Right.
Because we do have this idea that you go to these queer parties, this new queer party here, or this new queer party there, or this is a gay bar or whatever. And then you talk to everybody and it's like, oh no, I'm not going to go there. That's a bear bar. Oh,
Yeah.
I don't want to go there. Like, I don't feel queer enough to go there because I don't identify as non-binary. I just call myself queer because that's just that's how I feel. Or I don't want to go there because blah, 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 blah. And it's everybody goes to these spaces where Big Brother decides to tell you, you're all supposed to feel safe here. This is the music. This is the vibe. Here are the fucking disco balls. No hate to the disco balls.
Yeah.
Because we love.
Yes.
But it's like you were saying.
It's a formula.
It's a formula. And in practice, they don't care.
No.
And who is really driving the vibe? The bartenders.
I was going to say the barbers, because it's treated like you're renting out a space there.
And
you are bringing in the business.
I truly have. I'm really jaded at this point because of what I saw behind the scenes with people hosting parties for, like, certain marginalized communities, and then behind closed doors having whatever they had to say about them. And I'm like, oh, their money's cool, but
you don't like them.
That's the end of it.
Yes.
You don't fucking like them. Or having this drag event or that drag event, and then behind closed doors, you can't stop running your fucking mouth about how you can't stand the drag community.
Yep.
They're problematic. They're this, that, and the other, which... Chicago drag is volatile. We're just it is what it is. I was in the belly of the beast for a while, but it's like that kind of thing is what makes me feel so saddened, because being a bartender can be really fucking cool when you become almost like a hub, for lack of a better term, like a light for people that resonate with whatever
your energy
You're a whole
is.
vibe in general, and always have been since I have known you.
That's how I feel about you, bitch.
Oh, we're gonna hold hands here in a sec.
Yeah, we are.
But that is the beauty of it, because everybody's a little bit different. And when you're like, oh, I want to go here because Reba's going to be there on Wednesday, and like it's like a whole, like, I want to go chill, like she plays good music, whatever. That's the beauty of it. And unfortunately, just through my tenure or whatever and being in different spaces, I can't stand how the industry in itself, I think there is an element of it where you've got your kind of like core folks, and then you've got the revolving door that's around. Like you've got the people that pop in, pop out, they go here, they go there, they go like all these different places. But I think sometimes the people at the top start to just think of the staff as completely replaceable and dispensable. And I'm like, they're the fucking worker bees.
Yeah.
Who are you kidding?
May I
You're
say something on that specifically? So years ago, before Half Acre, I was working at Small Bar. So Small Bar no longer exists any longer, but specifically it was the location at 2049 West Division. I believe it's now Tiger Hawk now. Shout out to Burritos, okay, because they're absolutely amazing.
Oh, shit.
Yes, because that is where he has his brick and mortar.
Yes.
We love smashed burritos.
It's fucking good.
Yes, it's absolutely amazing.
Now I want one.
Yes. I'm sure he will hear this and we'll figure it out. But so, upon working there, it was, to me, it was like a very, kind of cut and dry job, right? Like as I started there, and I was just serving, like I'd bartend a little, but I was just serving. And I met such a diverse representation of the community here in Chicago just by being at this little like craft beer soccer bar like situation for years. And I ended up getting my Michelin level like leadership role because of a recruiter that was there. And I always talk about how important it is for bars to, for better or for worse, they need to be looked at as like community centers, community hubs, because that is truly what they represent, because it is an unlocked door to such potential, because you have no idea who is going to walk through that door, and you also have no idea the relationship that you have with that person when they leave again.
Well, I agree with that, but I also think that ownership tends to look at the word community in a different way than people who work there.
That is correct.
And
absolutely.
They exploit that idea of community
for sure
to their benefit. And so, like, for example, my hair is now green. This was literally done because a regular who works for Aveda Hair Institute was like, I really want to like color your hair and blah, blah. And like, I'm like, I am broke. You know that, right? I'm a bartender. I cannot professionally do anything. And we like legitimately.
False. I just want to put that out there.
No. I mean, like realistically, I can't afford to pay $300 to get my hair colored professionally on my salary as a 4-day-a-week bartender. So
just wanted to
having someone willing to do that for a barter was amazing. And I literally traded my hair for a plate of curry. And so like...
That sounds good.
I know. I was like, I love...
So like, I think, yes, it's like you can meet these people and like you can find different like avenues through that, to whether it's like a bartership or finding a job somewhere else or whatever. But I think that when we're talking about community in places of business, we need to remember that there are actually two different communities coexisting. And one is just trying to survive, whereas the other one is focusing on how do I make this thrive.
But I also feel as if it's very, like, I mean, I don't want to say that it's like interchangeable with one another because it isn't, but I mean, it's very much like a yin and yang.
A give and take, a flow,
absolutely. Because, I can talk about the fucking ivory tower all goddamn day, but the reality of it is that if you don't have people that care about fostering those connections and relationships, it doesn't really matter what ownership wants to do.
Exactly, but ownership is in charge of putting together that like team of people, and if one person doesn't fit that vibe, it's like in a cattle, like in a herd of cattle, they can separate you from that vibe.
This goes back to what I had mentioned earlier in this episode. It's, you know, toxic work environments.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, it's different because you want to give people the autonomy to be able to advocate for themselves, but then also you want to empower them to ensure that they're not a part of organizations that simply want to stifle their voices and their feedback.
Yeah.
So it's like this.
But it's hard to find that magical place where it exists for you to like literally say just words and people hear it as just words and not back talk, or you're giving them shit for something that they can't control. It's like, you could control this if you wanted to, but because something doesn't affect you directly, you don't give a shit until it affects you directly.
I don't think that a lot of people in my experience who are owners of again, queer nightlife spaces really give two shits about community. I think what they care about is, how do I monetize this? How do I get the community to give me money?
Exactly.
Because I have specifically heard, we're not the YMCA, we're a bar. It doesn't matter if they come in here if they don't drink.
Catty.
And so I'm like, I mean, don't get me wrong, like on some level there's truth there, right? Like if you're going to have an event, you want the event to be successful monetarily, because at the end of the day you have to pay to keep your lights on.
Yes.
But I think that there is a give and take, and there is, if you're going to talk about yourself as being here for the fucking community, then show up.
Yeah.
And be there and know that, this one might not be the most lucrative event, but it's still low key and it still is there for folks to come and
experience. Yeah.
It still matters.
Be around other people. It matters.
Yeah.
And that's that right there was one of the things that like happened to me, because I like had to work through COVID and bringing back like we opened a new bar like during COVID and afterwards. And again, I'm not only talking about like one like specific place, but like that part of it for me was kind of like the downfall of when I realized, number one, I have a drinking problem. I am fucking miserable. My anxiety is through the fucking roof.
Yep.
I don't like what I'm doing. And also, I don't want to be the mouthpiece for anyone if I don't believe what I'm saying. Because at the end of the day, especially like me, because I am a content creator, I do put myself out there I would say a lot in general. Like, I mean, compared to people who make no content, I would say they think it's a lot. That's my face.
Yeah.
Even if it's not me specifically.
I'm co-signing this shit.
You're so charming online. I love it.
Oh,
yeah.
Thank you. I try to wrap up like a little bit of like message and a lot of irreverence.
That's nice.
Welcome to Terms of Service, babe.
Thank you.
Yes. Absolutely.
No, I agree with you 110% on that point, though, because like and we do this a lot. We have a lot of conversations as a podcast about this. Like, I refuse to put my name on anything that seems like it could be the least bit messy, because I also believe in fully accepting that we have done something bad and we have to apologize about it. And so I don't like to put myself in any situation where I have to say I'm sorry unless I'm going to genuinely mean it. So I'd rather do all the work up front to make sure that I'm not put in a situation where someone is doing horrible shit and we are standing in front of that and being like, but they're fine. Like, I never want that for me, because I feel
I'll never
like
have that again.
Yeah,
I can tell you that.
Mm-mm.
Right.
Like, I'm not co-signing the bullshit. That's crazy.
Absolutely. So,
and that's on gay.
Rainbows, fairy tales, fallacies, all of that.
Fallacies or phalluses?
I said fallacies,
Yes.
honey, but yes. So
I'm only hearing what I want to hear.
you're like, at this moment, excuse me, it's like my My headphones went off. I'm
Right.
not understanding.
Who is she and why is she pink?
All right. Oh, so as we have been enjoying this conversation, also this is I want to say it's like more. I don't want to say that it's more in depth. I just feel like it is quite a bit more specific than we have traditionally gotten. So for the people that are listening, so they'll be like, oh, well, they're like calling people out. It's like the whole thing is just like,
We're not calling people out.
Exactly. We're just getting a lot more transparent in our experiences because it is our experience.
Yeah.
And for that,
attorney speak.
Yes. Shout out to legal counsel.
Yes, we enjoy you.
Yeah, thank you so very much.
Thank you.
They will be listening to this tomorrow morning.
Yes, they will.
Yes, absolutely.
You're doing great, sweeties.
They know.
Okay.
Yes. So we have been enjoying this beautiful concoction again from Ashley Lindsay, who is stepping in for the team at Garnet, and she has been killing it. And so to start, we have the Bayab Orange and Marula Gin.
Ooh, I do like her.
Yes, Marula, an African plum grown in South Africa, is a naturally fermented fruit and a favorite amongst elephants and other African animals. Okay, I will never forget that. Like an elephant.
I listen. I know you're good with the animal
exactly.
facts.
You know, not animal facts, but you know, a little dad.
You like snakes?
Comedy. What?
You know so much about them.
Yeah, that's why I'm terrified of them. I do not like them.
Fair.
I was like, I do not like them at all.
I guess that's how I feel about the ocean.
That is very
I gotta
fair.
know my enemy.
I used to have a snake.
Okay, well, so we're also enjoying this with the Ritual Zero Proof Aperitivo.
That's what it is.
Plum, lime, and coconut milk served over a king ice cube from Corey Ice. And also shout out to the homie Lavelle Miller for the support on this as well. So thank you.
I do
also
be
really
with
quickly,
that
Ricky. No. On the snake thing. I am so terrified.
Oh, I was like, what?
No.
What'd you do?
Yeah. We don't have to get into it, but there was a gentleman that I work with, and he sent me over a rendering, and he's like, oh, well, like we're working on this, and it happened to have a snake on it. And I just made a joke, and I was like, no snakes. And text are weird because I'm sure he didn't understand the sincerity in my text. And then he sends me, oh, Jesus Christ, they're talking about anxiety right now. He sent me a video that I did not open, obviously, that just had a whole bunch of the things because his sons
have
animal had baby animals. And then he texted me about how like they're docile and so on and so forth. And I was like, excuse me. I had to find a colleague to delete that video before I could even look at my phone again.
Really?
Oh, absolutely. No, absolutely not.
Even little ones? Like little baby ones?
All of them. Okay. So shout out to you. I'm happy for the journey. And I'm glad that you got to experience that. That's a little bit more insight about me in regard to that. So please don't ever bring any of that around me. Shout out to my mom. It's low-key her fault.
Okay. All right.
For making me have the fear of God against those things.
I don't fuck with whales, but that's a whole different story.
That's fine. A whale is not going to jump up and bite you in the bayou.
Okay, but they're that big. And they just exist out there, like in the water. And sometimes I feel very anxious when I think about them being in the same space at me at the same time. And like, you know, they also breathe water, but they're mammals. They used to have legs and be on land. It's like,
can you imagine a whale right now having legs and being on land? But little
wild shit.
It would be time for me to go.
It's time to
literally think about it. Bigger than an elephant with little legs.
3 to 4 times bigger than an elephant. sir.
Well, I mean, that just goes back to, like the gin that we just had, it's just like it has the fruit of the elephants out here.
It's delicious, by the way.
Absolutely. I really do like Viab gin. It was in my summer cocktail for the social, and I made like a creamsicle ditty with it. It popped off. It was top 2 cocktails of the Sumer.
I love that so much.
Do you ever hear whisperings of one that was called the Shotgun Wedding?
No.
Ask someone about that one.
Okay, will do.
That one was mine.
All right.
She has a legacy as one of the most annoying to make cocktails, but it was so good.
I love that.
The thing about me is I am still in chef brain, so when I make a cocktail, I try to make it as simple as possible for the pickup. But there was a cocktail from last season called the Kintsugi, which is a whole other thing. It's like a very specific kind of way of fixing broken dishes, whatever. But there were, and I shit you not, 11 touches in this cocktail. And I was the only person that was able to do it in the most efficient way. And I taught everyone else how to do it because, girl, I'm not trying to spend 13 minutes on a cocktail on a fucking Friday. Okay? No, absolutely not.
Right.
Efficiency is key. But I'm going to look that shit up in the system when I get into work on Tuesday.
Blackberry, jalapeno, basil.
Every time I'm on my Instagram story and you're like, I'm just going to go ahead and make this shrub so I can like put it in my sparkling water at home. I'm like, I barely want to make a box of mac and cheese for myself. And you've come full circle where you're like, I'm doing it for me, baby.
Who has me?
Yeah.
You're like
raspberry
I don't remember
shrub.
making a shrub, but I would though. I make my own kombucha. Is that what?
Didn't know that, but now I know. I know.
You're like, I'm fair. Yeah,
but like I said, I am in it for your kitchen renovation. It is giving me life. Because I personally would never. I have bought a pack of magnets to put on the doors of my cabinet so that I don't think a ghost is in my apartment every time I go to get water in the morning. Just open up the cabinet doors. I have had the magnets for 8 months. I have lived in this apartment for 13 months.
Reba.
I will literally live in something that is falling apart and be like, this is how it is.
I love it.
And I refuse to let the strange man who is allegedly capable of fixing things in my apartment, because I've so far fixed 3 things that he allegedly fixed, by calling my sister, who is a construction worker plumber, and being like, how do I do this? She sent me a toolkit. I can fix my own shit now.
Do you think that weird man has like a tunnel in the wall and he can like look at you from behind a painting?
Probably, but probably not, because I think that he would be moving around a lot of things if he was.
Fair. So
I gotta get this raccoon out of these walls.
Yeah.
This
the
thing
squirrels
is like 6
are
years old.
popping off in the walls, though. 'Tis the season.
So as we're wrapping up,
I know. I saw the time cards flashing.
Ricky, how was your time with us?
Oh my gosh, I've had a blast.
Great.
This is so nice. I haven't. Well, we really didn't talk about it, but
Anything.
Yeah, no, we're going to like this is the segue to where we are.
No,
Yes.
I'm having like a blast. I was a little nervous because, fun fact, this is actually my first podcast.
Yes.
Great. Ours too.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
No, just
This is
like the
podcast
first
we've ever
podcast that we
done.
ever done.
Oh, right. Yes. Well, you got a lot of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, I did one before, but it was like a horror reading. I like read a script. So, no, I was nervous, to be honest, but this was really fun.
No,
I'm
it's
glad
just
that I
chill.
wore my Kelly Clarkson shirt.
Yes. Oh, Kelly
see?
Clarkson is a queen.
I know.
Medicine. Yes.
So, yeah, no, I'm having a blast.
Great. And
I'm glad you turned the disco balls on. I'm not. That,
Yeah,
that
we
helped.
just
That
wanted
helped me
to
feel,
make
like,
you feel
safe.
included.
It really did. It
That's
really
what
did.
this is.
It really did.
Yes.
I joked with my
It's a
friends.
queer safe space.
Yes.
Right. I joke with my friends. I was like, I'm doing this podcast, and they're like, oh, what are you going to talk about? And I was like, I have no idea. And they were like, what if it's a trick? And I'm like, oh my God, it's my intervention.
Oh my God.
no.
Me
My mom's
at
here.
your intervention.
Max. Bring it. No, just it's like
Vicky, come on out.
Yeah.
Daisy's actually in the back as well.
Yeah.
She's just like-
that would make my day. That would make my day.
I honestly asked when I showed up, I was like, I wonder if he's going to bring Daisy with him.
She would have been a nightmare.
Okay.
Yeah,
fair.
not in a new space.
Sometimes there's another little dog here.
Oh, Ernie?
Yeah.
No more.
Oh, never mind.
But yes, so shout out to Ernie. We love him.
Sure.
So before we do the things that I know to do, is there anything else that you would like to add, my friend?
For just Gen Pop information for the industry at large.
Yeah.
Anything that you've learned?
Advice or, kind of guidance for those that are, of the community, but in the hospitality industry, maybe, questioning their relationship with alcohol consumption?
So I quit drinking for a year, and it was kind of like I did this experiment. And whenever I brought it up, there would always be someone somewhere like, I've been curious about doing that. Like, can we talk about it a little bit? And I would say to anyone who is feeling like, maybe I should cool it a little bit, it's important. This is what I did. I think a lot of us have kind of done that like dry January thing. Mm-hmm. I don't think 30 days is long enough for you to really kind of feel how your body feels. If you really want to let things level out, you do 30 days off. It's kind of like
a vacation.
It's kind of a little vacation, right? And so I actually approached it, and I was in therapy. And so I approached it with my therapist.
Because 30 days off when you're on like 250 days. Yeah, it's not bad.
Right. So I would say to anybody, if they're curious about it, just do what I did. I approached it as an experiment. I was like, I just want to know how I'm going to feel if I take 2 months off, and 2 turned into 3, turned into 6, 9, 12. You know what I mean? And it was a very nuanced experience, but I would say if you think that maybe you have an issue, first of all, that's okay, because I think a lot of people do, because we just kind of learned this is normal, and it's normal doesn't really exist, whatever. But I would say just try it, do it as an experiment. Yeah. And just kind of really ask yourself, how does this make me feel? Because the most important thing that I learned is that it wasn't just that I had a problem with overconsumption. It was that I had problems that were exacerbating my drinking problem. So you take your drinking problem out, and you have this little pink cloud, and you feel great for a little while, but then you come face to face with your real problems that you didn't deal with before, that make you want to dissociate and things like that.
Yes.
So I would say you really just have to sit with yourself and just be fucking mindful and be like, how do I feel?
Yeah. But be for real.
Yeah. And don't be swayed by people that are around you either. Just do the shit that you want to do. We're all you know what I mean?
Fuck off, naysayers.
Yeah. In general, I just say fuck off, period. I'm not doing that.
No. Oh, I love saying no. It is top 3 favorite things.
Yeah.
Just saying no.
Period.
Yeah. It's a full sentence.
I mean, absolutely. So
you got to do stuff.
I know.
Oh, I have one more thing I do want to say.
Of course, because I was going to ask you, how do the people find you? But say what you're going to say, and then let us know if you want to be found.
So I always want to be found.
Yeah.
I knew it.
Perceive me.
Yeah.
Oh, the opposite. Do not perceive me.
Yes.
I would say this. Just in general, if you are ever in a situation where you are finding yourself in a toxic work environment, you're finding yourself dreading going to work. It's called work. It's not a vacation.
Yeah,
work isn't always going to fuel your soul. It's not. If it does, you're lucky.
Yes.
This reminds me of an artist that we were talking about off mic that I don't want to bring back on mic. But yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
But I would say her.
Yes. But not her.
Yeah.
Because I love her.
Right.
But yes.
Right.
So
we
big.
know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
I would say just in general, I made a really tough decision last year to actually walk away from a job that I was just you know what? This is not serving me. This is not where I'm at in my life anymore. I cannot do this. My mental health is worth more than this paycheck.
Yes.
Do not let yourself ever be held hostage by a paycheck. if you were in a situation where you think that you could possibly figure something out.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like if you're in a situation where it would literally
blow your life up if you walked out. Yeah.
You do not deserve to be miserable or mistreated or being forced to be in toxic situations or working with people who are awful, like just because you think you're never going to find something again. That's not the way that it works. We live in an entire world. If it's not in this city, it's somewhere else. It's just like a relationship.
Yes.
You know what? How many fucking fish are there? Not the real sea. We're not going to talk about the ocean again.
No. But
like, just you are worth more than being miserable in general in any situation.
Yes.
And I think that work, relationships, whatever, like just take a fucking step back and be like, I think I'm worth the day I'm in. That's not cool. And that's not going to be the energy that I'm taking in to any other parts of my life.
No.
Like, no thanks. Next.
I love that. And
it'd be hard, but it's good when you do it.
Yeah. And also, I mean, you can also plan for these things as well.
110.
Sometimes.
Exactly. And it's also really, really interesting because I think of when I started and the different environments that I was a part of and so on and so forth. I had to leave some environments that I was just like, this just isn't it for me, and literally comfortably, like I was comfortable in the reality of just like, I would rather figure some shit out for like the next like week or two because I had that belief within myself than to ever step foot back into this fucking property.
Oh,
again.
yeah.
Ever. And
that's that Teflon lifestyle.
I tried my best. I was like, but also it was also to send a message not only to myself, but also to that establishment.
Yeah.
I was just like, I can figure this out. I was just like,
I don't need you.
Yeah, I was like, I do not. I was like, and because you definitely need me more than the fuck I need you.
That's a powerful message to send to anybody.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to say it, but you're going to regret me walking out this door.
Literally.
Absolutely.
Because I'm going to be in your mind forever the one that was like, you're not fucking worth this.
Yes. Yes.
But you know who the fuck is? I am.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think that you can.
Because you still have to be here.
Right.
That's crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think that you
This is your business.
Right.
That's wild.
Right. You built this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is what you built. Okay, great.
Yeah, lay in it. That's your bed, baby.
Yeah. Every day. Every mirror. It's the same thing. Yeah. Have fun.
Sometimes they like what they see, though, and that's Donning-Kruger.
That's fair. And I don't want to be affiliated with that at all. So I'm like,
sociology, baby.
I'm like, c'est la vie. But yes, so
on that note, you got shit to do now.
But before I do, Ricky, again,
to be found.
How can they perceive you? How may they perceive you?
You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at the Ricky Lee, RICKYLEE, and that's it. Yeah, no, that's all. That's all. They can perceive me however they want. Like I said, I make content, and it's kind of like sometimes a little bit of an important message wrapped up in a lot of comedy and irreverence, and the women between the ages of 35 and 55 love it.
we love knowing key demographics. I mean, yes, absolutely,
sir.
Yeah.
I am a child.
I was like, I love that so much. Nariba.
Yes.
Any parting words?
Not really.
Okay.
I don't want to part with y'all, so
that's fair.
This is between you and your God.
I mean, that's fair.
But you can find me at Rebaru, REBARU, on Instagram.
Sounds very sad.
It's not sad.
Well, I was just saying it sounded very sad. I was like, I don't want to be sad. I want to be happy that it happened.
I mean, I could be both. I'm a woman. It's complicated.
That
same.
Yes.
He gets it.
Tracks. Well, as always, shout out to Blind Barber for hosting this necessary conversation. Also, Ritual Zero Proof for the support. And in addition to this, Corey Ice for really believing and supporting this work. Also, I said it earlier, but I'm going to do it again. Ashley Lindsay for stepping in for the Garnet crew with her wonderful concoction. So thank you so much. Lavelle Miller, thank you so much again for your support. Biab Gin, absolutely fantastic. I also cannot express my appreciation and respect for our production team, also you, Nariba, Max as well, everyone behind the scenes that is going to make this as crispy, polished, beautiful as possible, because they are absolute experts in what they do. And on that note, my name is Justin Arnett Graham, and you can find me on Instagram at This Is Biko. Peace!
Thank you.